Okay, if you remember last time, this is about where things came unstuck for me. Very quickly, I'm playing through the tutorial section, basically, the prologue for this game, Kingmaker, and I got a little cute trying to set up a little spellcaster ambush for the assassins that are lurking in this next room, and ended up getting critically hit with an arrow and dying quite embarrassingly. So this time, I won't be quite so tricky. I think I'll just try to play through this and carry on with the game. We can save the fancy pants tactical stuff for when we're actually out of the tutorial, and embarrassingly dying won't be so bad. Alright, so here are those assassins that got me last time. Let's take them out.
Serves you right. Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
So what I will do though is move these guys up and hopefully use some of their spells rather than just having them plink away with arrows. So let's have Lindsay, Daze, this guy. Let's also have Tartuccio, Daze, the same guy. So basically he's got to make 2 saving throws rather than 1, and hopefully he'll fail 1 and that'll take him out for the round. These guys are pretty hopeless archers, so using their actions to take him out is a good trade, I think. They're probably not going to hit, and if they hit, they're probably not going to take out this guy or this guy anyway. So use the spells, force 2 saves, hopefully disable him for a round, and leave Joseph, my paladin, to do the heavy whacking. So there, that worked, that's wonderful. We'll do the same to this guy in the next round. Hopefully we can take him out and move on. So that's good. Now let's charge just to get that bonus to hit. So this guy's still dazed. This guy's probably about to fail a couple of saving throws, so let's take him out. Yeah, there we go. So he's dazed. He's just come back. We're charging. Oh, we missed. Did we miss because we rolled a 1 or something pathetic? No, we missed a 5, so it was pretty pathetic, but not a 1, which is an auto miss. Okay, so now we're going to focus fire, which means all of our party attacking one person to take them out as quickly as possible. This guy. Alright, there he goes, and there goes... oh no. Hopefully. Excellent. So we made it through without getting critically hit and dying like last time. So that's a win in my book. All right. Health and death. Yes, this is what happened last time. Let's try to avoid it in future. All right. So healing is done by spells, which can be cast by a range of different classes, including Paladin. Eventually, as well as others. Potions, so items, magic items can restore health. Resting can restore health. I'm not sure exactly what the mechanic is in the computer version of Pathfinder. In the pen and paper version, resting is a fairly slow way to restore health. So it would be good to have something like this in any case. They don't mention abilities, but abilities are another useful way to restore health. So again, Paladin has a special ability called Lay on Hands, which lets the Paladin restore some health to himself or to another character. So that's really handy. Hopefully we won't have to use it too often, but we'll see. Alright, so Tartuccio killed this guy with a spell, which reminds me to turn off his AI, because I'd rather not have the AI driving. Alright, let's loot these guys. Ooh, there we go, look. Having just told us about healing potions, the game now gives us a whole bunch. That's wonderful. So let's grab them and let's spread them out among our characters so that each character has the ability to heal themselves if they need to. So So let's put one there. Let's put, no, he's already got a couple, that's fantastic. Let's give her another one, and let's give me the big one. So this is a moderate wounds, cure moderate wounds potion rather than a cure light wounds potion. So it does a bit more healing, 2d8 rather than just 1d8. So I'll put that on my sort of frontline character who's most likely to get hit and need it. And yep, we can leave the rest in our inventory for now. Notice that I am already hurt. So what I'll do is, I'm not sure if I have the ability yet. No, I don't yet have the ability to lay on hands as a paladin. I think I get that next level. So I'll just scull a light wounds potion. There we go. So it's randomly rolled. It's a d8 plus a fixed amount. There it looks like we rolled very badly, which is a shame. But that's the nature of random number generation, and we just roll with the rolls, so to speak. Let's jump back into inventory and chuck all of those on this guy, because he's the one who's probably going to need them. So we can't stack potions in inventory slot, in hot slots. Alright, so that makes, you know, these kind of precious. We have to pick which items we have ready to hand. Keep that in mind as we collect more stuff. Alright, let's push on. So Lindsay as a bard should have the ability to sneak around. If they've spent her skill points at all sensibly, she should have that ability. So let's take a quick look through her. Yep, there we go. So she doesn't have a skill point assigned to this skill, stealth, but she still has a decent chance to succeed based just on her stats. So that's her dexterity and on her size. So being a small character, a halfling, she's harder to notice, and she gets a pretty hefty bonus, so a +4 bonus to stealth as a result. So even though she's not trained, she hasn't put skill points into this, she's still not bad at it, and she'll get better once we drop a skill point into it when we get the chance. But for now, we can just have a try to hide in shadows, sneak, and see if we can have a look at what's in here before we move in ourselves. It's a good idea not to let her get too far out in front, just in case she fails a stealth check and ends up getting spotted by whatever's up ahead. So we'll keep our other two characters fairly close behind. But this just lets us plan a bit better what we're going to do.
It is done.
So it looks like there's nothing here to worry about. So we'll bring her back, we'll unstealth her, and we'll open up this door.
I wrote it like I saw it.
I don't know if the little virus protection thing is going to pop up in the on-screen recording, but wonderful. Thank you, Windows. That's fantastic.
I tire of waiting.
Alright. So, let's have a look. Oh no! Is everyone dead? Yes, Lindsay. They're dead. You should search them for clues. Maybe this gold killed them. We should take that for safekeeping. Alright. So, looks like this is just some scene setting. The mysterious attackers have slaughtered some of the people who were in the meeting hall with us earlier. We hardly knew them, but I'm sure we're sad to see them dead. Okay, let's push on. This was the door we couldn't open from the other side? No? No? That was that door. Okay. So we're exploring, hopefully we're finding out what's going on, and we're collecting a few bits and bobs along the way, which are probably sort of scattered around here, so that whatever class you start as, you end up with something usable in the way of equipment by the time you've worked your way through this tutorial bit. So we'll grab that, even though we don't really want it, and we'll push on. Okay. Again, we're sort of grabbing whatever we can as we run through.
Onwards.
Everything looks quite nice, I should say. It's not a sort of graphically fantastic game, and when you zoom in, even when you zoom in, everything looks pretty nice. So that's good. Amiri! This is the barbarian with the attitude problem
March on.
from the
We will be
opening scenes.
victorious.
So let's go help her out. Shall we? Not that she looks like she needs much help.
You deserved it.
Whoa, nice shot. That was Lindsay taking out an assassin with her crossbow. Good shooting. And Amiri's killed him before I even got there. So well done, Amiri.
Oh, it's you. Stay up from under my feet or I'll strike you down.
Okay. So, barbarians have a class feature called Rage, which basically improves their combat abilities, their ability to hit and do damage at the expense of their defenses. So their armor class drops a bit, but their bonus to hit and damage goes up, I believe. And Amiri seems to be raging most of the time, not just in combat, so that'll be fun if she ends up in our party. She'll probably provide quite a bit of attitude and entertainment. Alright, we'll stay out of her way.
Blood for Gorum!
Barbarians.
I think that's exactly how heroes should be.
Bloodthirsty and angry, okay.
What, stupid, sweaty, and always looking for something to gobble up or lop the head off of? At least you saved me from such heroes.
Alright, so Amiri's run off ahead. Hopefully we can catch up, because she looks like she'd be fun and useful to have in the party. So more daggers, and another potion of Cure Light Wounds, which we'll no doubt need at some point. Oh, cutscene, scripted thing. What's happening? This looks like guards. So generous, I'm afraid I can't offer you the same courtesy. Hey, you ugly mug, get them. Holy my god. Whoa! So that's a giant that shoots ice, so probably a frost giant. In the pen and paper version of Pathfinder, they're pretty nasty, so I hope the game doesn't expect us to fight that at any point soon. Alright, let's see what this poor fellow had on him. Again, we'll just grab it all and sort it out later. These guys didn't really stand a chance, I don't think, against a frost giant. We can have a quick look back through the combat log. It's never a bad idea in these games just to get an idea of the sort of stats and abilities and weaknesses, especially of the things that you encounter, so that you know how to deal with them better next time. So the frost giant used an ability, Cone of Cold, which is a fairly high level spell in the pen and paper rules. And yeah, here it looks like it's much the same. It's a powerful ice frost damage spell. So as well as being huge and strong, frost giants have powerful magic, which explains why I'm not super keen to have to fight that at level 1. Hopefully the game won't make me do it. Hopefully the balance issues aren't that bad, but we'll see. Alright. Again, we'll grab what they're carrying. Ah, okay, so this is interesting. Let's grab this and jump into my inventory
I'll
screen,
make my own legend.
because I want to swap out the greatsword, which does good damage, like one of the best sort of basic weapons as far as damage is concerned. I want to see how that compares to equipping a longsword, which is a one-handed sword that does less damage on average than the greatsword, and a shield. So this is a setup that gives us better defenses with the shield at the expense of slightly less damage. So let's run with this setup after running with the greatsword from the start, and we'll just see what we run into, and we can swap back and forth if we think we would benefit from more damage or more defenses. Okay, where are we going? Not through there, but let's have a look. Probably get some nice flavor text. The passage is blocked, you can't make it through this way. Okay. Alright, let's go through this way. Skill check. Okay, good. So we're sort of stuck behind some fallen timbers here. It's asking us to make a dexterity check. I imagine if you fail, there's some sort of interesting consequence. Maybe some damage, maybe a sort of hampering condition that'll be put on the characters. So let's just click and see what happens. Alright, we got a fade to black, and now we've reappeared on the other side of the obstacle. Did we win? Okay, so Lindsay made the dexterity check for us. We got a small amount of experience. So it looks like the game just auto-picks the character with the best chance to succeed. Which is a bit strange, because even if Lindsay agilely scampered over the fallen timbers, it doesn't explain how big lumbering Joseph with his pretty unimpressive dexterity got through as well, but okay, alright, we'll take it. And now that we're through that, we're into another fight. Okay, so who are we fighting this time? More bowmen and more assassins. Alright, so let's charge the bowman. So we get a red cross when we try to do that, I'm not sure why. Alright, let's charge the assassin instead. Let's have these two. Lindsay will try to daze him, and Tartuccio will cast daze as well. So again, we're sort of trading these two guys' actions, hopefully to take out this guy for the round. We'll have him just basically attack him. There we go. Wonderful. He's dazed. And that's a bit of a waste, but let's not worry too much about that. They can attack him while I attack him. Alright, excellent. Ooh, that hurt. Okay, so... Alrighty. Finally, it seemed to take longer than it should have to finally take him out. I wonder if we had a few rather bad rolls back up here. Yeah, so there's a 1, Lindsay rolled not bad, but she doesn't have much of a bonus. This is worth pointing out. So, Lindsay was attacking the assassin with her crossbow, while I was in Joseph was in melee combat with him. What that means is, without the right feat, there's a significant penalty involved. So that shooting into combat penalty of -4 is really, really hefty. It really sort of cripples her chances to hit, especially at this low level. That can be removed with the right feat selection. So it's something to keep in mind if we decide to try and build her into a effective ranged combat character. We should make sure to pick up the feats that make that doable. For now, though, hit and miss is a lot more sort of swingy and a lot more random at lower levels when the characters have sort of smaller bonuses. It's far more dependent on the dice roll than on the bonus, so not a huge deal, but something to keep in mind for later. Alright, enough talking about the game, let's keep playing the game. Alright, more potions, excellent. More minor loot. Let's have a look through this door. Break down the door to the armory and find some weapons.
Anything else?
Okay, so we didn't break it down, or at least if that was the door to the armory, we didn't break it down. Lindsay automatically unlocked it. Okay, that's nice. So, the difficulty class on that roll, the difficulty check for that roll was a 1, so that seems like any character could have succeeded. So there's a lot of gimmies in this tutorial section, which sort of hurts realism and hurts immersion a bit. Like, really, it's locked at DC 1, the Sword Lord's Armory. But okay, I guess the game's showing us how it all works, so we can just suspend disbelief here and roll with it. And in we go to have a look around. Now, this is a bit of an interesting roleplay type situation. So, as a paladin, as a lawful good holy warrior, looting the armory is sort of, you would at least have to justify it in some way. So let's see if the game does anything with that. So here we have, a masterwork light mace. So masterwork weapons are higher quality weapons that have non-magical bonuses to hit. So this masterwork light mace will have a +1 bonus to hit if they followed the pen and paper rules, which makes it a nice little find. And a composite longbow. So again, in the pen and paper rules at least, composite longbows let characters add their strength damage to the damage of the arrow, whereas plain longbows don't. So again, if we find a character who's got good strength and good dexterity, we can give them this, and they'll go crazy. Let's grab it. And there's no. Okay, it seems like the game's not going to test us in any way about looting the Lord's Armory as a lawful good plaid. Alright. Tower Shield. I'm not going to use it. I'm not proficient in it as a paladin by the look of it. But why not? Let's grab it. And a key. Okay, excellent. We'll take the key. Probably need it to keep progressing through the... Okay, so there's a chest.
What have we here? This chest is full of gold. I guess it's for the guards' salaries, all things considered. Well, those freeloaders don't seem to have been working too hard for it. Maybe we should pocket it instead.
Okay, interesting. So here it looks like the game is going to give us something of a choice to make about how much we loot, borrow, steal. How do you want to put it from the Lord's Armory on our way through? So Tartuccio, if you remember, is a chaotic evil character. Chaotic in this setting means not concerned with following the law, or not concerned with consistency, or there's a number of ways to spell it out, but not law-abiding is one of them. And evil is sort of, again, you can spell it out in a bunch of different ways, but it's kind of self-centered, selfish, concern for your own sake, and dismissive or destructive of others, sort of, is one way to spell out evil in this setting. So Tartuccio is a chaotic evil gnome. Well, gnome probably doesn't have much to do with it, but as a chaotic evil character, is recommending that we just take this money. After all, who cares? Now,
What? No, we're heroes, not thieves.
Now I don't remember what alignment they gave Lindsay, but here she's disagreeing with Tartuccio about stealing the money. Clearly, in her view, that's not heroic.
Who said we were stealing it? We'll just take the gold for safety so the assassins don't get it. And then we can heroically return it to Jamandi when this is all over.
Do we really believe that's what he's suggesting? Not really. Alright, so now we get a choice. So we can sort of say, yes, let's steal it. We can say something about the risk of stealing it rather than the wrongness of stealing it. Or we can just say, stop faffing about, we have a job to do. So none of those scream lawful good. This is probably the least not lawful good, so I'll go with that one.
Finally, a voice of reason.
Alright.
Do what you want. I don't care. It was just a suggestion. But there's a lot of money in that chest, and with all these bandits running around, it wouldn't be any better if they stole it.
So, interestingly, alignment in the pen and paper tabletop social version of role-playing games is often a big point of contention, and there's many ways to spin an action so it's consistent with, you know, a range of different alignments. It's interesting to see how this game will handle it. Obviously, they have to come down on one side or the other if they're going to make it a sort of alignment-based challenge. And here it looks like stealing the money was going to count as some sort of, you know, scare quotes, bad action. So even if we thought this was the lawful thing to do, keep it out of the hands of bandits and return it to the Lord when we eventually find her, taking it might have counted against us as a paladin. So yeah, interesting how they're handling the alignment side of things. Let's see if the alignment-based stuff gets any more nuanced as we play on. Okay, encumbrance. So the more you carry, the harder it is for you to move, the harder it is for you to move, the slower you go, and also the worse you are in combat, so you end up with penalties. I think penalties to your ability checks as well, to your skill checks as well. So we don't want to end up carrying too much stuff.
Adventures await.
So only lightly encumbered. Chaotic good was her alignment. So when she's objecting to stealing, it's not on the grounds that it's breaking the law. It's on some other grounds. So not heroic enough. Makes sense from the perspective of her alignment. Okay. She's also only lightly encumbered. He's hardly encumbered at all. It looks like encumbrance is only taking into account things that are equipped on the character, so it's not clear who's carrying all of this. The shared stash, it's just magically coming along with us, which is a strange way to handle it. But I guess there's a trade-off between sort of ease of use, quality of life type features of the game and realism. And constant inventory management might not sound that fun to a lot of people, so abstracting it in this way and having somehow a shared stash that no individual's actually carrying is, I guess, fine. So our party encumbrance is at medium. Not sure what that means for us. Ah, there we go. Thank you, game, it tells us. We travel slower, we fatigue quicker. Okay. Good to know. Let's press on. Alright, so there's a door we could go through there. We could explore down here just to make sure we're not missing anything. So that tab feature that highlights the interactable elements of the environment is really nice to sort of check that you're not missing anything. It can breed a little bit of laziness though, so you sort of walk into a new area and rather than kind of look around carefully to see what things you might be able to go and do stuff with, you just lazily hit tab and then go to the things that are highlighted. It's another ease of use versus sort of immersion feature trade-off, but
Oh,
I can see why
familiar
they did include it.
faces. I hope you're not so frightened as to swing at every shadow. It's me, Jathal. I don't recommend advancing down the hallway, assuming you value your life, of course. There were a few people with me, and you can see what happened to them.
They died, lady. How did that happen?
And just how did they all end up dead while you don't seem to have a scratch?
I'll answer but briefly and just once. Further scares and explanations will wait until we aren't being hunted by a group of assassins. Deal? All right. I'm undead. These traps are deadly to the living, but they're harmless to me.
Interesting.
What do you mean undead? Really? Like zombies or skeletons or...
So here's another alignment sort of related thing. Undead, at least in the pen and paper rules, I keep saying that, but at least in the pen and paper rules, they're evil by default. There's just something about necromancy and the things that it makes that is evil. So, given that I'm a paladin and there are sort of restrictions on the kinds of company I can keep, joining up with an evil undead lady would be a sort of perilous choice for a paladin. So we'll see again how this plays out.
As I said, further explanations will wait until later. All you need to know right now is that we're on the same side, and we have to fight off a small army of hired assassins. Let's get to it.
Alright. Expedience would be no excuse as a paladin for teaming up with an evil undead. If you were playing a sort of hardline lawful good, that would be the way you might go. But again, it's a computer game. They have to try and kind of shoehorn a whole variety of different player character types into their kind of narrative structure. So we'll just roll with it. A lot like watching the movie of a book, I think. Playing the computer game version of a pen and paper role-playing system is an exercise in sort of judging how good it is on its own merits. And at least so far, I think this is a fun, and sort of good-looking, well-done game. And also judging how good an adaptation of the source material it is. And something can be like a great movie, but a bad adaptation of a book. This could be a great game, but a sort of bad adaptation of the role-playing game it's based on. I'm not saying it is at this point, it's just one of the things that I'm interested to see is what they've done with the source material and turning it into a computer game. Alright, traps. We don't want to tread on them, we'd rather spot them and disarm them. So, let's head up here. So she's joined us.
You have my attention.
Yeah, there we go. She's evil. She's an evil undead something. Inquisitor. Okay, she's an evil undead, and she's on our side. Wonderful. So let's grab Lindsay, who is our sort of roguish type. Let's walk her forward. There we go. So she spotted a trap. This is nice. There's no need to go, by the look of it, into any kind of detect traps mode. So in the kind of classic computer role-playing games like Baldur's Gate, for instance, in order to spot traps, you had to activate a sort of special mode on your character, which was like a detect traps mode. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't activate the skill, you wouldn't spot the trap, and you'd blunder right over it. If you did do that, you would sort of move more slowly, I think. I can't quite recall. But here it looks like that's all dispensed with and it's streamlined and there's just a perception check in order to spot the trap. So that's great. Remember we set an auto pause on trap spotted. So here that's stopped us from walking any closer to it. If I'd have clicked up here, for instance, it would have stopped us before we walked all the way over it if we weren't really paying attention. So auto pause on spot trap is a good thing to enable. Now that we've done that, we can grab Lindsay again. We can click on the trap, it looks like, and that will tell her to disarm it. Okay, let's see if that works.
Applause, please.
There we go. Alright, so DC 10, so just 50% of roughly 50% of the time you're going to succeed with a 0 modifier. She had a +7, so we were pretty much guaranteed to beat that DC and disarm that trap. It's not guaranteed though, but we can't fail it too badly, so we probably can't set it off by accident. That's good to know.
What troubles you?
Alright, let's have a look in here. So we've got a bookshelf. Let's have a look at the bookshelf. Some gold and some beads. Alright. Let's keep on up this hallway. There we go. So auto pause when we spot this trap. Let's have her disarm it. There we go. So again, we've managed to disarm it safely.
I see
There's
something.
another one. So we're getting a small amount of experience each time we do this. I mean,
I wrote it like I saw it.
sounds like another way to deal with these traps would be to just... Jaethal said that the traps didn't harm her, so let's just...
Letting the ink dry.
We could have just walked her up the hallway and maybe set them all off. Right, so she triggered the trap. Didn't do anything to her. We can see. Right, so she's immune to it.
This is my path.
So I did that just to show that even if you didn't have a kind of trap disarmer type character, there are ways to deal with it. You could just take the damage and heal it afterwards. You could have a character that's immune to the trap somehow. You could layer some protections on some character using spells and items, and then just walk them through it and hope that the protections deal with the effects of the trap. So there's lots of ways to play this, but having a trap spotter disarmer definitely is a little more elegant. You get a little experience bonus for doing it, and it's probably in terms of resources a bit more efficient too overall. Alright,
And so they walked on.
so chainmail and a fauchard? Fauchard? Something? Big sword. Okay, let's grab it. Let's select everyone. And let's move out. I want to incorporate Jaethal into our marching order. Let's put her up the front. Alright, now let's have a quick look in our inventory.
Ready.
We can't drink a potion straight from this screen? No? No, we can't? Okay. Let's have him drink that potion. Ooh, I think I drank my good one then by accident. I did too. I drank my good one. Oh well. Bit of a waste, but at least I'm back to full health. Look on the bright side. We were going to see what she was wearing, what she was using, so we know how to use her effectively. So she has a Masterwork Scythe, which is a strange weapon, I guess, but if we have a look at her... Let's have a look at her character screen and then have a look at her feats, if we can, or her class abilities. I just want to see how they've built the NPCs that they offer you to use in your party, whether they've built them kind of sensibly in a way that you'd be happy to sort of run with them, or whether they built them in sort of strange ways that make you wish you could rebuild them better. So it looks like here they've given her toughness as a feat for some extra hit points, and not a terrible selection, but certainly not the greatest. And she has some class-specific abilities. There we go. So Inquisitors as a class don't get proficiency with the Scythe, which is one of the exotic weapons, but her deity, if we can find who her deity is, there we go. The favoured weapon of her deity is a Scythe, and so she gets proficiency with that weapon. Good. Okay, that explains it. They didn't give her exotic weapon proficiency Scythe as a feat. She got it from her class. Curiosity satisfied. Let's push on. Alright, another dead dude with some scrolls. So scrolls are sort of like potions. They're one-use items that give you a spell effect. Unlike potions though, not just anyone can use scrolls. You have to either have the spell that the scroll carries on your class list, so it has to be something you could cast, if not now, eventually, or you need to have a skill called Use Magic Device, and if we just jump into the character section we can find that. Still learning my way around this interface, but here we go. Use Magic Device. So if you sink skill points into this, and you have a good charisma, and if you maybe spend some feats to improve your rolls with this skill, and there are a few like that, then you can have a chance, not a certainty, you can have a chance of being able to use any magic item, including scrolls that you couldn't normally cast, which is a handy thing to have, but it's a big investment to make in terms of skill points before you're likely to succeed, let alone sure to succeed, especially with more powerful items. So it's not something we'll be using anytime soon, but it is something just to keep in mind. Okay, so let's push on. Oh, another scripted encounter. What are you dallying for? I'm telling you, Jumandi's cache has to be here somewhere. Well, hurry it up before... Stop! Someone's coming. Yes, okay. So we've interrupted some assassins, taking time out from assassinating to try some thieving. They're looking for Jumandi's cache, so her secret stash of loot by the sound of it. So he is a melee weapon wielder. He is... I can't really tell. The ranged ones were called Assassin Bowman, so he's probably just a melee wielder as well. So what I'm going to do is just pull back, let them come to us, and then once we've got that good, sorted. So I want my sort of tanky, well-armoured, tough character up the front, my sort of weaker ranged spellcasting characters up the back. She's more tanky than not, so once these guys have focused on Joseph, which they have, these handy little dotted lines tell us who's focusing on who, I'll move her up to attack as well. So he's taking the brunt of the attacks, while she can whack away herself. I'll have him focus on that character as well, using Cleave, so if he hits him, he can automatically have a swing at this guy too. Let's have these guys focus fire on him.
This is where I step in.
And off you go. Alright, nicely done, team. So, Tartuccio, the greedy little gnome, is curious about the cache that the assassins mentioned. Okay, so we'll see what we can do about finding it ourselves now, I guess. Yeah, so we get a quest. Find and open the cache. We also get some more minor loot and some potions. That's wonderful. Alright, so we've got a couple of doors. So hitting tab tells us there's no sort of doors in this wall here that we can't sort of see given the perspective. So that's a handy thing about that little highlight interactive objects thing. Alright. What are we in for here? Okay. So let's casually loot the chests, I guess, on our way through. And then we've got some statues that we can interact with. So the hand icon there, I take it means we can do something with these statues. Let's not do anything with anything for now. Let's keep exploring. So more statues. 4 more statues. Okay. So this looks like a... So again, we hit tab, we're sort of cheating, we want to see if there's anything we can do in the environment aside from interact with statues. No, so we've got to do something with these statues to solve a little puzzle, I guess, to find the cache.
Anything is possible.
So let's move Lindsay back to here. messing with things. So if we move
Adventures away.
our characters near to the statues,
What troubles you?
so we can mess about with them until we can figure out what we need to do. Alright, so let's just start with the first one we saw. So Lindsay
Like I saw it.
is going to touch this guy. Alright, so the swords change position on the 3 statues here. So those 2 are up, and that one's down. Now that one's up, and those 2 are down. Okay. Alright, if we do this, that affects these 3. So now those are up, and that's down.
I'll make my own legend.
Okay, so each statue affects itself and another statue.
I always have a second plan.
At least one other statue. Alright. So my guess is we want all the swords up, or we want all the swords down. That's really the only sort of 2 possibilities that are any kind of pattern. So how are we going to do that? Well, trial and error would be one way. So there's 2 swords up and 1 sword down.
Share your
Let's try this. No, that didn't help. 2 swords up and 1 sword down. Let's try this one. Okay, so that dropped a sword as well. Let's try this one. Okay, let's try this one. Alright, so let's try that one.
path.
Okay, let's try
And
that one
Lindsay
again.
was called forth.
Alright, so
Adventures called to them.
depending on how patient you are,
I tire
you
of
might be able
waiting.
to figure out
You have my attention.
how this is supposed to work.
Adventures await.
Anything is possible.
But
In the life.
I'm just not that patient. I like that my character has sat down in boredom. Alright,
I'll make my own legend.
now look, I'm sure there's
We
actually
should move.
an elegant way to do this that I'm
I
just not
stand
seeing.
ready.
What troubles you?
I don't tolerate fools.
But
I
for
tire of waiting.
the time being,
Speak.
I'm just mad.
There is no greater satisfaction than overcoming a challenge. That is, of course, until one day the challenge overcomes
Alright,
you.
so I think this shows something
No stopping now.
about this kind of design in games. Now, I'm not paying a huge deal of attention to what does what here and what pattern you might have to do, but I'm already slightly frustrated, and it's the disconnect between your character's abilities and your abilities. So it would be nice, I think, if a sort of high intelligence or high wisdom character was somehow able to get a clue about what to do here
I'll make my own legend.
in terms of solving the puzzle, so that players like myself who don't have
second plan.
a lot of patience for this. Well, you know what substitutes for a lot of patience? A little bit of luck. So we've managed to get all the swords down just by accident while rambling about puzzle design in games, and that's opened a door. Excellent. Let's go have a look through the door, shall we? But yeah, as I was saying, there's no sort of sense of achievement there in randomly clicking things until something happens. Alright, now we're in the Sword Lord's secret stash, and unlike with the little treasure chest, we're not getting any kind of prompts about whether we should be stealing / borrowing / taking into our safekeeping the stuff that we're finding. Okay, so this is the first magic item, proper magic item, not a consumable one-shot item that we've found. It's a wand. It's a wand of magic missile. So this should be usable by Tartuccio, at least, and it will let him shoot magic missiles without consuming spell slots, but it will consume charges, of which there are 11 on the wand, so we'd want to use it sparingly, if we use it at all. Alright. And here we have more gold, we have an urn, and we have a scale. Wonderful. I gotta say, for the supposedly richest people around, the Sword Lord's secret cache is not impressing me so far. Maybe it's more sentimental value than anything. Alright, so shall we try and get all the swords up? Sure, why not?
My patience is running thin.
Tartuccio, you're not alone. But let's give it a shot anyway.
The undead is
Adventures away.
Alright,
immortal.
we're going to try and get all the swords up. So that one. So that's a good start. 3 up.
We should move.
If we do this, we get all of them up. But this one, so now if we do this, that drops those two. So can we do something to raise those two? Ah, no, Lindsay, Tartuccio, go back there. Can we do something to raise those two? That raises that one.
I wrote it like I saw it.
That drops more than it raises.
This is my path.
Up, up, up. Just the one down.
Enlighten me.
That drops both of those. That raises those. Yeah, so again,
Adventures await.
there's not... Alright, so we sort of want to leave those
I'll
alone for
make my
now.
own legend.
We sort of want to leave those alone. What if we do this, that,
Anything is
then
possible.
that,
We should move.
then that?
I don't tolerate fools. Time's wasting.
Yeah, so it's a bit, again, this is not the most thrilling way to spend your time.
I always have a second plan.
Alright, executive decision. The cache over here was underwhelming. This puzzle is not all that interesting. And I am going to give up. So, can't say I'm super impressed with that bit of game design. Yeah. Not a fun puzzle to work on. And the rewards for blundering through it in the first instance were not so great that I was tempted to stick around and blunder some more. So, yeah, underwhelmed by that part of the game. This looks like an important door. It's a bigger door than we've walked through yet, so I'm going to save at this point. And let's go through.